Welcome to another episode of Barbie Series, and this week I'm taking a look at Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief. Or as I like to call it, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief for short. As quite frankly, calling it and the Olympians feels a bit too long in my opinion. I want to admit to a few things up front though. Originally I was going to write a review script for this episode, and I did get a few sections done, but I didn't finish it and started to struggle with what I wanted to say about it in a lot of places. So I decided to just go with the usual format of just giving it, raw. Secondly, I have not read the book for this movie, nor any of the other books in the series. As such, I cannot relate with fans when it comes to their take on this movie, nor can I judge this movie as an adaptive work. I have to judge it by its own, which might be a positive in some ways. I'll also admit that this movie did not inspire me to go read the books, though to be fair, the last time I got my library card renewed, it was forever ago. It might be hard to read with my hand in the way. Okay, maybe. It's probably still hard to read how small it is. But my card was last renewed sometime before October '07. So yeah, this card is way out of date, and I may not even be in the system anymore for my public library in my area, because it's been so long since I've last been there. I also rarely buy books, so mostly because I don't really have as much free time as I'd like to read and enjoy them anymore, and I'd like to read a book to enjoy it, and have the time to enjoy it. And that's usually not the case with me running so many Let's Plays and other things. At any rate, I guess I should move on to the movie itself, though I guess I should make a pit stop when it comes to Greek mythology when it comes to this movie. I realize I can't talk about the mythology when it comes to the books, at least, but when it comes to the movie, it does play a bit fast and loose, I noticed. Mostly the scenes just surround the Hydra. I'm sure there's other places where it plays fast and loose, and I'm forgetting them, because I'm not super familiar with Greek mythology. But the Hydra is a water monster that spews poison, or has poisonous breath, I guess I should say. In this movie, it breathes fire, and can't walk through a wall of water for no apparent reason. Which is a very odd decision. Though, to be fair, I've seen far worse butcherings of Greek mythology. Like Hercules, and no, I'm not talking about the Disney version in this case. I'm talking about the one by Burbank Animation Studios in Australia, which decided to make Hercules older than Ares and Kronos. Yes, Hercules is older than the father of Zeus. Yet, despite the fact the movie has Hercules be Zeus' son, it just blows your mind if you try to think about it. It's just... That's neither here nor there, though. It has nothing to do with this movie. So I guess the bottom line is, I can deal with the changes it made to Greek mythology that I'm aware of, because I'm not willing to fight over such an insignificant change, because at least they kept the Hydra as a monster. Sure, it's meant to guard an entrance to the underworld, but besides the point again. At least it made for a somewhat interesting fight, and we got to see the Hydra grow have 10 heads, because we got to see Percy be an idiot. As far as the plot for the movie itself goes, well, it feels a bit generic, considering we spend most of our time watching Percy try to rescue his mother, which feels, like a very generic plot. Go save the damsel in distress, that sort of thing. But at the same time, the movie keeps most of the scenes moving so quickly by and at such a brisk pace that you don't have time to be bored with it. I mean, you have a rise in tension and then a fall in tension. We have them get a pearl, then we have to have them fight a monster, or fight a monster to get the pearl. Either or, there's almost always a challenge attached to these pearls at some point, which makes for a not natural rise and fall in action. Which is a good thing, because it helps keep interest in the movie. Graphically, or I guess special effect-wise, the monsters feel integrated relatively well. It probably could have been better, but quite frankly, I didn't feel like odd with the way characters were imposed into the scenes. Like when you look at some of the Star Wars movies for the prequel trilogy, where you'll see the CGI everywhere, and sometimes it feels very, very fake. Like, just painfully fake. And that's all I'm going to ask for. It's just at least if you're going to do CGI, or if you have to do CGI, do it in a way that doesn't feel very fake. And it doesn't really feel that fake in this movie, for the most part. There might be a few things I'm forgetting about, but yeah. It works relatively well. Sound-wise, I can't really remember too much of the soundtrack, but that's not much of a shocked, considering that's how it usually is for me. Background music tends to escape me unless they do something really, really wrong with it, like Eureka 7, Volume 1, where there's a scene where they're talking about this guy betraying the army, and they're playing this triumphant music. Now, this might make sense in some respect, considering the military is evil in the game, and in the series the game's based off of, so this guy betraying the military and becoming his own independent force is a good thing as far as the audience might be concerned. But it makes little sense when the military establishment is the one talking about it. There's nothing like that in this movie. The music fits in is just relatively forgettable. Not a really standout piece among them that you'll want to remember. I guess if I want to conclude, Percy Jackson and the Olympians and the Lightning Thief, sorry, is alright as a movie on its own, but as an adaptive work, based on what I've read from a few glances at reviews on the Internet Movie Database, this movie basically butchered the book series to the point where most fans consider this an absolute betrayal of their fandom. And I can't fault them for that. I mean, I've had issues like that with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone on Game Boy Color, which was an RPG, where there's just even slight changes that were very noticeable, like you don't get to play with Hermione and Ron. It just feels like a betrayal to everything the book series is about. But I have to judge this as a movie on its own, and as a movie on its own, it works relatively well. It's just a shame, I guess, that it has the name attached to it that it does, at least based on what I've seen the fans say about it. Until next time, then. See ya.
Welcome home.
Whoa, whoa, wait.